speaking of the health issues, have you heard anything about how Kate is doing? And how do you feel now that since we have this slimmed down monarch, how does this work now? We have now two of our senior members of the royal family down for the count, and Prince William is obviously being by Kate's side. So how do you see all of this?
Well, I think it's clearly a challenge for the monarchy. No question about that. It is a much smaller working unit than it used to be, and as you say, three of the main players are out of action at the moment. It helps that we're in January. It's a relatively quiet royal month. I think it would be a different story if we were right in the middle of sort of peak season, if you like, which is sort of spring and early summer. I think the monarchy will do what it's always done, which is to adapt. I mean, it has to be agile. That has to change. Clearly, it's already looking at a much smaller working unit than it is now, because you've got the King's cousins, who are the Duke of Kent, Princess Alexandra, Duke and Duchess of Gloucester, who are sort of supportive roles. They do official events, but they're in their 70s and 80s, so they're not going to be doing those sort of duties for very much longer. And at the same time, you haven't really got any new recruits coming through for a good 15 years, maybe. I mean, there's no rush to push little Prince George into royal duties any sooner than he's ready for them. So the monarchy is just going to have to cut its cloth accordingly, but that's what it does. That's what other monarchies are doing, actually. We've seen that the monarchy has shown a capacity to adapt. It had adapted during COVID. I remember when the pandemic started, thinking, this is an institution that depends entirely on interaction with the public, and yet it can't interact with the public. This is potentially very bad news, and yet it found a way. It adapted. The Queen and the family found new ways of approaching the job, and actually it became a great ally and a great asset during those difficult months of lockdown. So they'll find a way, but yeah, it's certainly not going to be a very straightforward few weeks for now.